Good morning to everyone. It's a pleasure to come and talk to you tech guys. It's been a long 25 years of journey for me. I set out, my objective is to change the world. To change the world, to eat right. So when I say to change right, that means the world is eating wrong. But I will do it. I've been working on it for the last 25 years. And in the name of science, in the name of development, in the name of economics, the world has taken a wrong path in maintaining the essence of life. So life itself is in danger. As far as I am concerned, on this planet, in the next 20 years, the human race cannot produce babies. There is no sperm left in the men, and there is no women who can menstruate properly in the next 20 years. This is the reality for you all. And everyone has to understand this is the biggest challenge that is staring at human race. And we, following this Western stupid model of living, not even aware of that it is happening to us. And that being the case, everything has to be corrected. If not tomorrow, there has to be some plan, and there has to be a method, and there has to be a system put in place. And the problem is that you have to convince now all the fellows that the system presently present is wrong. So initially, first few minutes, it looks like I'm bashing everyone. Please don't mistake me, because things have gone wrong, and then we still think we are okay and we are fine, we are doing everything right. So unless I use these kind of sentences and the way I put it across to you, there is no malaise, there is nothing of the sorts that my sentences convey. So I want you to please understand it. It is necessitated because the system exists the way it does. In fact, health is not having disease. It is something beyond. In fact, that's what actually I am intending to do. I'm actually least bothered about your diabetes, your cancer, your migraine. These are all things that will disappear by themselves if I make you healthy. If I make you fight diseases, if the disease doesn't come into your body, then where is the question of curing? So we have a state where your body is strong enough not even to invite these so-called diseases into your body. So can we have a body which can fight all these diseases from the beginning? What I'm talking is not to cure diseases, to eliminate diseases. To eliminate diseases. In fact, I have a dream. After 30 years, our kids should speak. Hey, my father seems had something called diabetes. Hey, my grandfather had something called cancer. But they should not be even aware of these conditions. Can we create that kind of world? And that's what I have set out to do. We need to understand what we can do about it. So what is the source of our problems is the food that we are eating, because 150 years ago the food that the world was eating was totally different from what we are eating now. And that food, see now the dimension has changed from our body, it has come to a different set of ball games. How are these guys creating this in large scale? So the whole world is eating only this. Okay, whatever you are cooking, wherever you are cooking, what are you cooking is more important. Whether you cook in steel or mud pot. Of course, you can say cooking in mud pot is better than steel. Steel is better than aluminum. Aluminum is better than this so-called non-stick. The life, the time is increased. We are living more years than before. But what are the parameters? There were accidents, there were animals, there were lot of fighting. So people were dying not because of disease. People were fighting the elements and then dying. So you cannot say, see, here we have been cheated. Oh, earlier they were living only 40 years, now we are living. How to get out of this? So you need to define the food, and the food is something which releases glucose slowly and steadily into your body. We need glucose. Glucose is the chemical that is burnt by oxygen to release energy, which is trapped by ATP. It is a battery-like molecule, adenosine triphosphate. There is a mechanism called mitochondria. It's a whole assembly line which traps the energy and makes this molecule, triphosphate molecule, wherever energy, I want to move my body, I want to move my eyelid, I want to shit, I want to sleep, I want to breathe. For everything we need energy, and that biological energy is supplied by ATP. And to create ATP in the system, in the cells, you need to burn glucose in each and every cell there and then. I cannot create ATP here and then transport it there. So each cell cluster creates its own ATP. It's all decentralized. There is no centralized way of doing things and then take the ATP there. So it does that. So instead of creating ATP in one space and then distributing, it makes glucose from our blood, distributes into different cells, and then the oxygen goes there. The body, hemoglobin carries the oxygen from the lungs. Hemoglobin goes into the cell and burns the glucose, and then ATP is made. And all these calculations are done, and however much you need ATP, that much is produced. And if you work, if I expend that, then some more amount of glucose goes in, some more gets burnt and things like that. Then if you don't burn the glucose that has gone into the cell, it rooks around for some time, no one is burning me, and it just comes back to the blood. So what happens? The glucose in the blood starts increasing, because if you do not work, so to burn 1 gram of glucose from the blood in the cells, you need to walk 15 minutes. So we have 5 grams of blood, 5 liters of blood in our body approximately. And if you are a big fellow, you have 6 liters. If you are a small fellow, 4.5 liters. But average is 5 to 6 liters. So you have 5 grams of glucose always in the blood. Wherever requirement, it keeps giving. And if you have more glucose in the blood, which we are actually supplying too much through our food, because the food that we are eating in the last 30-40 years does not have a control in the glucose release. So if you eat 100 grams of rice, instead of going through 108 steps of digestive process of hydrolytic steps, it just completes in 15 minutes, because there is no fiber to hold the carbohydrate hydrolysis. The whole 70 grams of carbohydrate in the rice, you have that one table I had given, just I saw flashed, yeah, the contents of each grain, and so it gets converted into glucose in a matter of 15 to 20 minutes. So you have dumped in your blood around 35 grams of glucose in a matter of 15-20 minutes. And if you eat wheat, yeah, here it is. Check this out. Paddy rice, 79 grams of carbohydrate. 79 grams. Oops. I thought I can move. This right side is also. Okay. Wheat, it is 76. Not very much different. And how much is the fiber? You have 0.2 grams and you have 1.2 grams. And the structure of the grain is, you have only 0.2 grams of fiber above the grain. So once you even just pound it, the fiber is gone. And now we don't eat pound rice, we are eating polished rice. The machine polishes and then totally zero. You have no fiber at all. And the wheat, whatever 1.2 grams is there, is treated with alloxan. What is alloxan? Is a bleaching powder like chemical which oxidizes whatever little fiber is there to make it finer powder. That's what is your atta. There is no fiber, zero fiber. So out of 75 to 76 grams, what is carbohydrate? It is a series of monomer, either glucose, fructose, then becomes sucrose, and sucrose like that, it builds up polycarbohydrates. What happens when we digest? It becomes monomers. So ultimately the end product of digestion is producing glucose. So the sucrose giving glucose and fructose builds up into the body. So when you eat 100 grams of rice or wheat, you approximately get around 30 grams of glucose into your blood in no time, 15 to 20 minutes. So you drink coffee, you drink juice, you drink Pepsi, you drink Coke. It's not foolish, just like us. There is a liver, there is a spleen, there is a kidney, there is a gallbladder, all these things and many more ductless glands. They all gang up and say, hey, we know how to convert this glucose into cholesterol. Because cholesterol is needed to make vitamin D. So there is a pathway. So let's get into this. So we make some cholesterol. But how much cholesterol you make? You go on making cholesterol, there's a problem. So that's where the steroids come. Supervisors, hey, that's enough. Now let's make triglycerides. Because triglycerides are needed to keep something going. But how much? You keep making some more because there's a lot of glucose. So you make cholesterol little more than required because there is not much problem. Salpa jasti adare en tondre illa, just make it. Another triglycerides. So rheumatic factor we needed to fight some antigens. So some of it will produce. So the body starts getting into emergency operations because to take care of the stupid glucose that we have been dumping without control, it starts making all these products. They were all necessary for us to some extent. But then this fellow is not stopping here, it keeps coming. So I keep making something because if that is there in the blood, what happens? If you put sugar here, in 2-3 hours it starts absorbing water. Am I right? Sugar absorbs water. So the moisture makes it liquid. Same thing happens in the blood because you have too much sugar, it starts absorbing water from the cells. Then the cells are parched because water is required. We are 75% our body is water. Each and every cell has to be with water 75%. If water is less, we go and drink water. Am I right? So if you have a lot of sugar in your blood, what happens is you start feeling thirsty because it starts absorbing water from all the cells. So to quench the thirst, we drink a lot of water. When you have a lot of water in the body, the kidney kicks in and starts filtering. So after drink water, you want bathroom attached. So that's why even before you build your office rooms, where are the bathrooms? Because you want to keep going to the bathroom. So to avoid that condition, the body is making all these adjustments. The emergency dance is going on. But we have enough of glucose in the body that it makes cholesterol, it makes triglycerides, it makes rheumatic factor, it makes glycogen. Glycogen is again packing of the glucose. If we have not got enough sometime in the future, I need to feed my body it storage material. And enough glycogen is stored, it will make some fat. Enough fat is then it makes some meat. So that starts, people start building up their bodies. No one need to be obese actually, if we only know how to deal with this glucose. Because we don't know how to deal with glucose, so you have become obese, your cholesterol has gone high, your Triglycerides have gone high, your fat material has gone high. So what to do with this extra fat? It starts tapping it into the blood vessels. Then your blood vessels are blocked, your heart is blocked. No problem, come, we'll remove the blocks, we'll put the stent. So these guys are talking about something else. The problem is somewhere else. So the whole root cause of the problem is this excess glucose in your, that is for your rheumatism, that's your cholesterol, that's your triglycerides, that's your BP, that's your diabetes. So this much adjustments are done and nothing else is happening because we are still excess glucose. The blood itself is being dropped onto the glucose. So the hemoglobin itself is coated with glucose, and that is called HbA1c. So hemoglobin is now taking the glucose onto itself and roaming around. So what was the job of hemoglobin? To carry oxygen and burn the glucose. Now glucose itself is sitting on it. So the oxygen is dislodged, then you start feeling tired. So when the HbA1c increases in your blood, you become diabetic. And because that should have been 6, now you have 7, 8, 9, 10. People are now at 12 HbA1c. Your hemoglobin should be 12. Hemoglobin is coming down, HbA1c is going up. So now I have described you many processes. It is due to the excess of glucose. Anything can happen first. If your body's nature is that you could have HbA1c high go first, or cholesterol go high first, or triglycerides, or rheumatism. So depending upon your body and your activities, either you become rheumatic patient, or BP patient, or triglyceride patient, or diabetes patient. And it's actually the situation is not that. Everyone is becoming all the patients over a period of time now. Either you are becoming diabetic first or BP later, or BP first or diabetic later. And that is the scenario we find in the present day world. Am I right? So where is the root cause of all the diseases now, the modern diseases? It is the food. Now no doctor in the world, no curriculum in the world talks about food. You have this, you take this tablet. You have this, you do this. You have this, you do that. You have this. You do all the things together. You see where we are and where the problem is? Unless I change the food. So I need to find a food, not drugs. If I find drugs, I will make you addicts. And that's what is the world is all about. Now all are drug addicts. Maybe BP drug addict, diabetes drug addict, steroid drug addict, this, all are addicts. You're all addicted to something or the other. And that's what this economic model wants. You all have to be addicted to something or the other so I can keep selling that. This is the bottom line in the corporate language. So you're all there. You're fixed. I use the word fixed in many dimensions. You're all fixed. Fixed on drugs, fixed on addictions, and so you keep going round and round and round. So that's why you're all becoming sicker and sicker and sicker. You see the futile processes that you're being running around. So you want to become healthy? Please look around. Look differently. Think out of the box. The box is not right. Here comes the wonderful grains. Here. So what do? We need to change the grain. The food that can release glucose slowly and steadily instead of flooding the blood. And that mechanism God has created in these wonderful 5 grains. So all this bashing that I have done, bear with me, I don't have any intention of scolding anyone. But this is the mistake the whole human race has done. So if we want to get out of this deadlock, we need to think differently. We need to do things differently. So if we continue in the same cycle, nothing will happen. So you see the sugar, Don't think there is no carbohydrate in the grains that I am proposing to eat. This is 76, this is 69.7, 70. So enough of carbohydrate is there. Not that there is not enough. But the difference is you have, along with that, fiber enriched. I use the word enriched. Enriched means not more. Just enough to do the job. So many people think that when I say Siridhanya it has high fiber. No, it doesn't have high fiber. It has enough fiber. It is the right fiber. All these conditions can be reversed. Absolutely reversed. In a matter of 6 months to 2 years, if we change the conditions of the food. So, simple, logical, and very scientific method is to change our food rather than taking the tablet. So, who do you need to go around? Not doctors. If you want health, you need to go around people who can grow these grains. And these grains traditionally are grown where there is no rain. That means even just 4 rains can produce these grains. 200 liters, all that it takes to produce 1 kilo of these 5 grains. And these grains are termed as neutral grains because of the ratio. Actually, there is another table which is to be supplied. If you actually divide 60 by 8, 65 by 9.8, you get, it's all in single digits, below 10. And if you do the same process here with these grains, pearl millet too, this is all above 25. So the ratio of fiber to carbohydrate in these 5 grains is below 10. And that's how it gives you health. And all other grains are above 20, the ratio. See, take this pearl millet, 67 by 1.2. So it's almost around 35 or something like that. And the same thing with wheat. And you see 66 by almost 3. So it's around 23. If you do 60 by 8, the ratio is 8, approximately 7 point something. And 70 by 12.5 is 5.5 for brown top millet. So the lesser the ratio, the health giving conditions. So what it actually means is that if you take this kind of grains, this will not cure your any disease. So if you are diabetic, if you eat ragi, it will not cure your diabetes. But if you eat only ragi and nothing else, you will not invite disease, but it will not cure you of any disease. So this has no healing properties, but it can maintain you. That's why we call them neutral grains. Neither it takes you into positive domain or negative domain. But you are already sick, it cannot lift you up. So most of us are now eating ragi and rice and wheat, so you become sick only. So this is 0 value, this is minus 100, these are plus 100. So now if you are in the minus, you have to eat positive grains. That's why we also termed as of positive grains, which has got high fiber content. I use the word high fiber content, but it is the right fiber content for our body needs. So many people, many experts, it's high fiber, don't eat. It's not high fiber, but it is high fiber with relative relationship with these 2 grains. See, you have 0.2 grams and 8 grams. It's almost 40 times more. So it is high fiber, that's what they call. But I call them right fiber. For us to do the job, to release the glucose slowly and steadily into your blood. So now the definition of food comes into picture. What is the definition? A food is one which releases glucose into our blood slowly and steadily in a balance. And once we figured this out, our health is in our hands. So now if you eat all the time these grains, even if you are sick, your health comes back. So this being the proposition, I started searching for these grains and then went to different farmers and collected the seeds. In fact, we had hardly left these seeds, and then I brought them and grew them large quantities and collected some 10 diabetes gangrene patients. We gave them, within 3 days this gangrene disappeared. And once you have gangrene, it is the job of doctors is to remove the legs, fingers, and then supply them with artificial. So the journey started, and I don't know how many I have cured now. I have no count. It is thousands and thousands and thousands. Now it's gone to lakhs because people are not even coming to me. I have been giving this, and we have made books, PDF, and it is free. You can go to Google and download. It's in English, it's in Kannada, it's in Telugu, it's in Hindi, all kinds of things. And anyone can download free and then start eating these grains. And you can feel the difference. And it's a matter of 6 weeks. Everyone starts experience this health. We're not talking about disease here. We're talking about health. Your body is finding that health in the system because the glucose is not flooding your blood. Once that is not there, the system is left free to function in all dimensions, to clean up, to maintain, to do this, to do that. And all these organs end up doing their job properly. You become healthy. And that's the magic. And I don't like the word magic because magic and miracle can be done once in a while. But this is based on sheer science. It doesn't matter. You can line up lakhs of people, follow these simple principles, all the lakh can be healed if they have time. And many people are at the end stage, they may die. Some of them may die because we may not be able to help. We have enough time. And we ended up curing so-called cancer patients, so-called HIV patients, so-called SLE patients, so-called multiple sclerosis, so-called brain tumors, so-called fibroids, so-called breast cancer. So we listed different kinds of cancers, different kinds of what kind of grains you need to eat, because each grain has a different capacity. So the foxtail cleans up, that file is there, different. It is there, you can go through. Foxtail does clean up your nervous system and lungs. Kodo millet, Arca cleans up your blood and bone marrow. Barnyard cleans up your brain and liver. And your brown top cleans up almost every part of your body, especially the digestive system. So you have anal cancer, esophageal cancer, stomach cancer, the brown top comes into picture. You have blood cancer, kodo millet comes into picture. Lung cancer, your foxtail comes into picture. So different organs are cleaned and maintained by different grains. Grains means basically it is the fiber. The fiber is two kinds. One is soluble fiber, another is non-soluble fiber. So the soluble fiber is in the blood, cleaning up all the systems. The insoluble fiber is in the rectal area to the large intestine. It coats that area and it becomes hydrophilic and starts absorbing the right nutrients and starts making things happen. So you need to start thinking what we are eating is not just killing us, killing all the animals on this planet. If we stop coffee and tea from tomorrow, within 6 months, the planet will be a much better place to live. Can we do that? No, we cannot, because we are addicted. Coffee is caffeine. It will not stop. There is no hereditary. Diseases are not hereditary. Only very, very few diseases are hereditary. All of it is made out of this food. If your food is right, no need of any medicine. And if your food is not right, no medicine will work. But then what are we doing? I'll go to naturopathy, I'll go to homeopathy, I'll go to allopathy, I'll do tatopathy. Tatopathy ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾ ನಿಮಗೆ? ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ? ಉಚ್ಚೆ ಮಾಡೋದು ಅದನ್ನು ಕುಡಿಯೋದು. ಕಕ್ಕ ಮಾಡೋದು ಅದನ್ನು ತಿನ್ನೋದು. They are doing that kind of experiments. Oh, your own shit, you have this, oh, you do this, do this. ಸೊ ನ್ಯಾಚುರೋಪತಿ ಆಯಿತು, ಅಲ್ಲೋಪತಿ ಆಯಿತು, ಹೋಮಿಯೋಪತಿ ಆಯಿತು, ಟಾಟೋಪತಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ತಿರುಪತಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ದೇವರ ತಿರುಪತಿ, ಆಲ್ ಪತೀಸ್, ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಬಿಕಮ್ ದ್ರೌಪದಿ, ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಎಲ್ಸ್. So, where do you want to go? Go to the farmers. They are the ones who will give you health. But then we are running around hospitals and all this nonsense. No disease will be cured for you. It's all they're managing. As I told you, management of all this MBBS, business management laga, business medicine, business surgery. Absolutely we are out of whack. And we all believe that we are advancing. Oh, I can show you your brain, your tumor, this inch by inch, vernier calipers. Oh, this much tumor is there, this much. Okay, it is there, I can see. What do we do with that? Is the question. Oh, I remove it. I will do chemotherapy, I will do this therapy. After 6 months, oh, it has spread to this. It is called metastasis. Oh, we don't understand. Meta means we don't understand. The whole bloody thing is a one thing. Where is to understand? From here it goes. Well, the whole thing is connected. And what is the big deal to understand it? Am I right? So in the first place, this tumor should not come. Even if it is there, how do we dissolve it? How do we reverse it? It is through the food you can reverse it. And that's what we have done. Umpteen number of patients, not 1, 2, 3, to write a paper. But thousands of them have been cured. Thousands of gangrene cases, thousands of diabetic patients. HbA1c 12, they have got 5. Back to 5 in a matter of 6 months. But then the problem is the system. We are not willing to let go. Oh, rice tinta iddivallappa, ishtu divsane yakke bidodu anta. You got to get out of it. Can we do that? It is a tough task because the system has to change. And who will change? Who will change? We are the ones who are in it. So no one will come and change it. We need to change things. We need to work at it. So all you guys want to eat millets, then the farmers will produce millet. And then if you just say, I want to eat millet, that actually is good enough. Because you are all ordering in Amazon and say pizza, burger, noodles. Then who will eat millets? Then if you don't order them, after a few years, the seed cannot germinate. The seeds can germinate after 6 months to 3 years. And then after 6, 7 years, they lose their capacity to germinate. So now if there is no recycling of this germinating materials over a period of time, you will lose all the seeds, and that's what has happened. The world has lost wonderful diversified food materials in the last 15 to 20 years. But there were no seeds. In fact, that's called foxtail millet. Corralu is called foxtail millet. It's an Italian millet. All over Italy, people are eating foxtail millet. And then Borneo millet is called Japanese millet and German millet. Just 150 years ago, the whole Germany was eating this grain. And Andu Corralu, Corle, brown top millet is American millet, for your kind information. They were eating this. Now they are feeding the birds. And they are eating these stupid things. And if they are stupid, following them, what are we becoming? We are becoming idiotic. That's all that is happening. They are fools, we are idiots. Nothing else. So, here I stand and tell that this is the food that you want, and I am not asking you to just believe me. Just 6 weeks. Whether you, whatever disease you have, I care 2 hoots about it. You write down. Cancer, gangrene, HIV, SLE, some syndrome, Group-Zir syndrome, R syndrome. Because if they don't, they write some syndrome, all syndromes. Close the envelope, eat 6 months to 2 years, depending upon what problems you have. Many. Thousands are reporting within 6 weeks they start feeling the difference. And I tell them, wait. And in fact, on YouTube, YouTube eye pickers, they keep giving titles, all out of the world titles. In 1 day, your stomach will go down. In 2 days, you are all right like that. Don't believe all that. I don't know which company. He had a bone cancer, his mandible. Then the doctor said it has to be cut, and then chemotherapy, radiotherapy. But then before that, he was not able to eat because it's all stuck here. It's grown here. So they put a pipe, and then he was being fed in that. So they came to me. Before the operation, 3 weeks, that time was left. So his parents got him here. He was 21-year-old boy. 23, I think. 21, 23. Just finished and then got into some firm. And so he had this, and he was actually eating pizza, burger, drinking Pepsi, Coke, all that, and he got into this, and then they came, and then we fed him the bone cancer ganji, because he was not able to eat. Ganji is, porridge is the culture of human race, food. In the early days, prehistoric times onwards, they used to just collect the seeds and soak it, and then cook it. After overnight soaking, they used to cook. That is ganji. So once ganji is made, he was fed through the tube. After 3 weeks, he was able to move his mouth. Then he said, we will postpone. Then 3 months later, the bone cancer went away with all that kashayams. And then after that, he came back and again started eating pizza, burger. And because many people think it's all just a medicine-like thing, we are done and we get back to normal food. Many gangrene patients, after they get cured, they come and ask, sir, can I go back to my normal food? I said, this is the normal food that you should eat. Abnormal food is... See, you get a disease and you think it is normal food. Then I cure the disease and you call this abnormal food. And that's okay. And we need to change the businesses. I'm not against business, but we need to change the businesses of the people of the future. And instead of doing business of medicine, let us do business of millets. Thank you very much.